It's Clash of Champions this Sunday, and with 9 matches currently announced for the show, it seems that, for once, plans are pretty much in place for the whole show ahead of time. Unless, of course, COVID has something to say about it. And as we all know by now, COVID always has something to say about it. It was reported earlier this week that NXT suffered another outbreak of COVID-19, with a report stating that it wasn't as large as the first one, and it seemed to originate from a coach who unintentionally spread it amongst those they were training. This week's episode of NXT had to undergo several changes according to Dave Meltzer, but it may not just be NXT that's been affected. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer expanded on the outbreak, saying that there are people on the main roster who got it from this outbreak, a few that may impact TV this coming week. It's really not the best timing for WWE, with SmackDown tonight, Clash of Champions on Sunday, and then Raw on Monday. More worryingly though is that there are those on the main roster who took time away from WWE to avoid the pandemic as much as they could, like Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn, who've only just returned recently to a supposedly safer environment in the Thunderdome, only for COVID to spread it to the main roster almost immediately after. WWE have responded to this outbreak, releasing an official statement that reads, "As part of ongoing testing protocols, WWE completed its second round of weekly COVID-19 testing on Tuesday. Individuals that tested positive will quarantine for 14 days, receive medical care, and then will only be cleared when they are symptom-free and test negative. Additionally, extensive contact tracing has taken place, and other individuals have been placed in 14-day quarantine and will only be cleared when they test negative." In addition to all of this, a report from PW Insider reports that talent who worked at the Performance Center or Full Sail will not be permitted to work tapings of Raw and SmackDown at the Thunderdome until further notice, which would include all of Retribution's mates. For NXT, the next taping takes place on October 4th, so anyone who tested positive or is quarantining will not be available for that show, including the extras that make up the crowd. But for the main roster, it may spell slightly different trouble, as last week's episode of SmackDown saw an angle where Bayley attacked Sasha Banks, which was supposedly filmed inside the Performance Center. And those who worked in the Performance Center are not reportedly permitted to go into Thunderdome, so Bayley may need to be written off Clash of Champions and tonight's SmackDown. With that said, the angle could very well have been filmed at Thunderdome but just said it was the Performance Center, but it is worth bearing in mind. And if you want to add fuel to the speculation fire, WWE have announced 3 segments for tonight's episode, including Roman Reigns, Lacey Evans, Alexa Bliss, Jeff Hardy, and Sami Zayn, but nothing currently for Bayley, Banks, or Bayley's challenger this Sunday, Nikki Cross. One of the people that seemingly tested positive for COVID-19 is NXT's Chelsea Green, who posted on Facebook that it feels so good to be outed again after testing positive for COVID. Green's fiance Matt Cardona has been absent from AEW programming since All Out, so it may be possible he's been in quarantine as well. But now we can go back to our regular dose of silly wrestling news, and brand warfare is very much alive with Roman Reigns pew 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 shooting on Raw. Pew. It's fair to say that since Roman has returned to the blue brand, it's been putting out some of the best shows in WWE this calendar year. This is made even more drastic when you compare it to Raw, which is actually crapping its pants. Appearing on a Mania Club meet and greet, Roman compared Raw and SmackDown to cooking. Comparisons I can get on board with, as I bloody love cooking. Chef Show is back on Netflix, what are you doing this weekend? Saying that SmackDown is the superior chef. We got a bunch of fast food fans and they complain that they want stories and well thought out stories to develop. When you start doing that for them, they want it all now. My people, I'm cooking a steak. We're creating an elaborate omelette and we're in the process of cracking the eggs right now. You're not gonna get it quite yet. We're gonna let the steak stay on the grill. If you want your cheeseburger, watch Raw. SmackDown, we do filet mignon. Although I've got to be honest, Roman, I don't want an omelette with my filet mignon. Just roast up some potatoes, maybe with a bit of rosemary and thyme, which should complement the butteriness of the steak if you're basting it, which I presume you are. It's a fair comparison in all honesty, because SmackDown has managed to build an immense amount of anticipation for Roman versus Jey Uso this Sunday, while Raw debuted Slapjack, T-Bar, and Mace. In the main event of Raw this week, Retribution's newly named Gang of Misfits took on the Hurt Business, which ended with Mace getting disqualified for punching Bobby Lashley when he wasn't the legal man. Yes, it is as lame as it sounds. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, this was a botch, as they screwed up their own rule because it's a breakup of a finish, so a submission is also a thing. So if you break up a pin or submission, you're allowed to do it. But if you just hit the legal man for no reason, then it's a disqualification, which makes absolutely no sense, but that's the story. It makes absolutely no sense. I think that's Retribution's tagline. And speaking of Retribution, after the frankly hilarious debut on this week's Raw, it seems the group may be taking on a bit of a gimmick change, or at least that's what their social media accounts would have you believe. T-Bar, Mace, and Slapjack all have Twitter accounts which they seem to be taking fairly seriously, with T-Bar posting a group shot of them looking all menacey, Mace continuing his spooky cryptic stuff, and Slapjack posting his face. But now it seems the trio are leaning into the hilarity of the angle, with T-Bar responding to Brian Alvarez revealing this week's AEW and NXT ratings with T-Bar 1,667,000 viewers. Slapjack and Mace also did the same thing, and then T-Bar carried on, saying that Retribution will lay waste to every superstar on the roster. The only exception to this is X-Pac, because X-Pac is an outstanding name. And acknowledging that his mask is a direct ripoff of Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, T-Bar paraphrased his speech from the movie, saying, you think training is your ally? You merely adopted the Performance Center. I was born into it, molded by it. I didn't see the main roster until I was already a man, and then it was nothing to me but blinding. Which was a flawless Tom Hardy impersonation. He also claimed that Tom Hardy, who played Bane in the movie, is a false idol because he's 5'9", and Bane is supposed to be 6'8". Meanwhile, Mace claims that he hates two things in life: corrupt billionaire conglomerate and poor grammar. Slapjack weighed in to say that people didn't watch Shane Thorne, but they do watch Slapjack, posting a screenshot of a match featuring Shane Thorne having 88,000 views on YouTube, while the Raw main event had 2.2 million. This all seems like a drastic change from what they've been presented on Raw, as they've been all serious with no comedy whatsoever. Not intentional comedy anyway. But now this may be a change of heart from management on how the characters should be portrayed following the response from the collective audience worldwide. Or it could just be the wrestlers leaning into the negative reaction and laughing along with us. Myself and Denise Salcedo will be diving into this on the WrestleTalk podcast today, but what do you think? Are Retribution going through a gimmick change? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to people from out of Slapjack's paper plate mask. But even if T-Bar did draw 1,667,000 viewers, people want to know, what did NXT and AEW draw this week? And the numbers are in. It was another good week for the Wednesday night wrestling wars of wrestling shows, even though both AEW and NXT were down in their respective ratings. AEW drew 835,000 viewers, around 50,000 less than last week, with a 0.32 in the all-important 18 to 49 demo. NXT was around the same as last week, falling just below 700,000 viewers with 696,000, which has the number 69 in it. Nice. Combined, the shows did 1.5 million viewers, which is a good sign as they went up against the NBA and NHL playoffs, with that NBA game doing 4.5 million viewers. And that 1.5 million isn't that far off from the Raw rating on Monday. Speaking of Raw, and a couple of weeks ago, Ivar of the Viking Raiders suffered an injury while doing a dive during an 8-man tag, immediately throwing up the X for the referees, and they went straight to the finish. It's been reported that he could be on the shelf for around a year, and Ivar confirmed on Twitter that he's now recovering from his neck surgery, saying little over a week post-surgery, the road to recovery has begun. I can't say thank you enough to everyone for all the love and support. It has been unbelievably humbling. Better, stronger, healthier, here I come. We here at WrestleTalk wish Ivar the speediest of recoveries. And Ivar isn't the only WWE wrestler who's had surgery recently, with Naomi posting on her Instagram stories that she underwent a myectomy, which I've likely said wrong. Get off my back, I'm on YouTube, I'm not House. Naomi posted, in the midst of Hurricane Sally and COVID, I underwent an unexpected 6-hour surgery to finally remove a massive fibroid that's caused me severe anemia, fatigue, horrible abdominal pains, and more problems I don't even want to mention over the past year and a half. I'm recovering well, I'm relieved, and I'm already feeling so much better. So family, friends, and fans, don't worry, I'm okay, LOL, miss ya. Get well soon, Naomi. We miss you too. And the bad news rolls on for Tegan Nox, who has reportedly suffered another torn ACL, which could put her on the shelf for a year. This is awful news for Nox, who's been plagued with injuries throughout her WWE run. She was originally lined up for the 2017 Mae Young Classic, but was replaced prior to the tournament kicking off as she tore her ACL, and instead competed in the 2018 Mae Young Classic, where she tore her ACL again and various other things in her match with Rhea Ripley. And she was also written off TV after last year's War Games for a brief period of time because of an injury. Tegan Nox's third torn ACL in 3 years was reported by WWE in their NXT injury report, which is usually a kayfabe list, but Rovert on Twitter is claiming it's a legit tear. If true, we really wish Tegan Nox the speediest of recoveries. To end on a positive note, WrestleTalk.com's Louis Dangoor is exclusively reporting that it's not just Vince McMahon that is high on a Raw star, but also the rest of the locker room. So that's something a bit different. Wrestlers within WWE told the Quizzlemania champion that Peyton Royce has been working hard in ring, likely at her husband Sean Spears' training school that he runs with Tyler Breeze. And one wrestler was quoted as saying that Peyton Royce has a tremendous attitude and deserves all the opportunities she's reportedly set for. Hey, you there! Did you know around 30% of you watching right now aren't subscribed to WrestleTalk? Well, you should be. Hit that subscribe button and enable notifications to always on so you can be notified first when our videos go live, including daily news videos and review podcasts. And we'll be doing live reactions to WWE Clash of Champions this Sunday with myself, Adam Blompier, and Q-Tip of the All Authority, where I not only want to get my job back full time, but I'll also become the new Jam That Champion. But before that, you should check out myself and El Fagador Laurie Blake talking about the latest movie news, including Tom Cruise going into actual space to film a movie over on Cineworld's channel. Click the video to find out more. And which WWE star has been shooting on Ronda Rousey? Click the other video to find out. I've been Luke Cohen, jam that jam, and give me a yes please.